Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to unpack a credential that can be a real game changer in the ICT world.
Yeah. Which one's that?
The Registered Communications Distribution Designer Certification. You know,
Mm.
RCDD.
Ah, yes. The RCDD, definitely important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So think of this as your essential briefing on what it takes to get this qualification in 2025.
And maybe why you'd want to.
Absolutely. Why it might just be the smart move for you listening.
Right. So if you're someone who's, involved in designing the backbone of our digital world.
Like structured cabling, network systems,
Right.
that kind of thing.
Exactly. Or telecom infrastructure.
Yeah.
The RCDD is pretty much the gold standard, globally recognized.
Gold standard. Okay, so what does it actually prove?
Well, it essentially proves you have the expertise to design these critical communication systems inside buildings. We're talking the fundamental infrastructure, the stuff that makes everything else work, basically.
Okay, let's dig into that a bit.
Okay.
So getting that RCDD is more than just like another line on your LinkedIn profile, right?
Yeah. Oh, much more. It tells people, clients, employers, even your colleagues that you really understand how to design these systems.
How to do it safely, efficiently.
And by the book, following all the important industry standards. That's key.
Yeah. So you're basically architecting the nervous system of modern buildings.
That's a good way to put it. From the fiber optics in a huge skyscraper.
Or wiring up the whole smart campus.
Exactly. Those kinds of projects.
And earning this, especially looking ahead to 2025, it can really make you stand out.
It really can. It's just a powerful signal of your competence. It definitely boosts your standing.
Right.
We often see RCDDs becoming the go-to people, the experts on the more complex projects.
And that credibility, I mean, that must translate into some real-world benefits.
For sure.
Like, are we talking better pay?
Yeah, there's definitely potential for a real bump in salary.
And getting access to maybe more interesting work.
Absolutely. Those meaty, high-stakes projects, the higher budget ones where your expertise, really gets to shine.
Sounds good.
And becoming an RCDD, it also plugs you into this global network of top-tier ICT designers.
Oh, interesting. Like a community.
Exactly. And that kind of pair connection, it can be invaluable for staying current, for finding new opportunities.
Yeah, I can see that.
Plus, look at where things are heading. More digitalization, smarter buildings.
Everywhere, yeah.
The demand for really qualified designers is just going to keep growing in 2025 and beyond.
Okay, now here's something I found particularly interesting. For certain kinds of projects, it's not just a nice to have.
Oh, what kind of projects?
Well, we're hearing that for a lot of government contracts, military contracts, the RCDD is actually a requirement.
Ah, okay. Non-negotiable.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with, secure facilities or these massive infrastructure builds.
Right. That makes sense. So it can literally be your ticket into some very significant work.
Exactly. A real deal breaker or deal maker, depending on how you look at it.
That's a key differentiator, definitely. So, okay, for anyone listening who's thinking, all right, this sounds pretty good.
Maybe this is for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about who can actually, aim for this. What are the eligibility requirements?
Right. The pathways in. So there are basically a couple of main routes.
Okay.
First one's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
You need 5 years of hands-on experience, and it has to be specifically in ICT design.
5 years. Got it. What's the other option?
The other option is maybe for people a bit earlier in their career, but with like a strong academic background. So that's 2 years of design experience, but then that's coupled with a relevant degree.
Yeah.
Or maybe another recognized qualification in ICT or a related field.
Okay, so 2 years plus education or another credential.
Yep.
And it's really crucial, isn't it, that when you apply, you have to back this up?
Oh, absolutely. Solid documentation is key.
What does that look like?
We're talking a detailed resume, one that really clearly outlines your design work.
Not just listing jobs, but what you did.
Exactly. And depending on which path you're taking, you might need transcripts, maybe proof of other certifications,
Right.
that sort of thing.
Good to know.
And here's a really important point. BICSI, the organization, they can actually audit applications.
Ah, so they check.
I can, yeah. So you absolutely need to be upfront, totally honest, and really precise with everything you submit.
Makes sense. Clarity is key. Avoid delays.
Or worse, getting rejected just because something wasn't clear. Honesty and detail are definitely the way to go.
Okay. So say you've figured out you're eligible. How do you actually get the application in?
All right, the process itself. First step, you need to go to the BICSI website. That's bcsi.org.
etsi.org. Okay.
And you'll need to create an account there.
Standard stuff.
Yeah. Once you've got that sorted, you fill out the online application form, upload all those documents we just talked about.
The resume, transcripts, whatever's needed.
Right. And then you pay the application fee. Just a heads up on that.
Yeah.
The fee is non-refundable.
Good to know. So be sure before you pay. And, maybe a pro tip here from folks who've done this.
Yeah.
Take your time with that application. Don't rush it. Be super specific.
About what exactly?
Job titles, the specific projects you worked on, and really spell out what your responsibilities were on those projects.
Ah, okay. So really paint a clear picture.
Exactly. The clearer you are up front, the smoother it's likely to go. Less chance of questions, delays, or, rejection.
That makes total sense. Invest the time up front.
Right.
So, okay, application submitted.
Yeah.
You've been detailed. What's the timeline like?
Well, you got to give it a little time. Approval can take a few weeks, typically.
Okay, a few weeks.
But then hopefully you get the green light.
And that's when you can actually go ahead and schedule your RCDD exam.
Yep. That's the next big step, which brings us to what many people find the most, significant part of the whole thing.
Getting ready for that exam.
Exactly. The preparation.
This is where the real heavy lifting comes in, isn't it?
It really is. We're generally looking at a recommended study period of, say, 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months. Wow.
Yeah, especially if you're juggling it with a full-time job. It takes serious dedication, time and energy.
No kidding. And the main resource for this prep,
Yeah.
that's the TDMM, right?
That's the one. The absolute cornerstone is the TDMM, the Telecommunications Distribution Methods Manual.
The official BICSI guide.
Yep. And like we hinted, it's substantial.
How substantial are we talking?
Over 2,000 pages.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah. Packed with technical detail. It really gets into the weeds on things like, cable performance standards, grounding, bonding techniques, different network topologies.
All the essential knowledge you need for designing these systems properly.
Precisely.
Okay, 2,000 pages.
Yeah.
That sounds like quite a mountain to climb.
Yeah.
Where do you even begin with tackling something like that?
You definitely need a plan. A structured approach is, essential.
Like break it down.
Exactly. Break the TDMM down into smaller chunks. Maybe aim for, say, a few chapters a week. Something manageable. And don't just read it passively. You need to actively engage. Take good notes. Make flashcards, maybe.
To really drill in those key concepts and all the specific terms.
Yeah, exactly. Solidify the knowledge.
That sounds like a solid strategy.
Yeah.
Are there other resources people use? Because 2,000 pages is still a lot.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Lots of supplementary stuff out there.
Like what?
Well, you can often find helpful video summaries or explanations of TDMM topics on places like YouTube.
Ah, okay. Visual aids.
Right. And joining study groups can be huge.
Where do you find those? LinkedIn.
LinkedIn's a good place to look, yeah.
Yeah.
Connect with others going through the same thing. Share insights, ask questions, get different perspectives.
That social aspect can help motivation too, I bet.
For sure. And look, if your budget allows for it,
Yeah.
taking the official BICSI RCDD prep course can be really beneficial. It's structured, make sure you hit all the key exam areas.
Right. If you can swing it, it sounds like a good investment.
It can be.
So that sounds like a pretty well-rounded battle plan. You mentioned something earlier, though, a specific tip about how to study effectively.
Ah, yes. This is important. Remember, the RCDD exam isn't just a test of memorization.
It's not just spitting back definitions from the TDMM.
No, it really tests your ability to apply that knowledge
Apply it to what?
to real-world design scenarios, actual projects.
Okay, so application is key.
Absolutely. So as you're studying each concept, you should constantly be asking yourself, okay, how would I actually use this on a job in a practical situation?
Right. Shift the focus from just remembering to actually doing.
Exactly. That shift from pure recall to practical application, that's crucial for success on the exam.
That's a brilliant point. Not just the what, but the why and the how. It all fits together in the real world. Okay, so let's say someone's put in the hours, they've focused on application, they're feeling, reasonably confident.
Hopefully, yeah.
What's the actual exam experience like? What can they expect on test day?
Okay, so the exam itself, it's computer-based, and you'll take it at an authorized Pearson VUE testing center.
Pearson VUE. Got it. And the format?
It's 100 multiple-choice questions.
100 questions.
Yeah.
And how long do you get?
You have 2.5 hours total to complete it.
Okay, 2.5 hours for 100 questions. So you need to keep an eye on the clock?
Definitely need to be efficient, yeah.
What kind of topics do those questions cover? Is it all TDMM stuff?
It draws heavily from the TDMM, yeah, but it covers a wide range. The fundamentals of network design, obviously.
Cabling systems?
Yep, different types, their applications, planning pathways and spaces for all that infrastructure.
Data centers too?
Data center design is definitely in there. All the relevant industry standards, codes,
Hmm.
you need to know those. And, a lot more related topics. It's broad.
Okay. And let's just hammer this point out. This is closed book, right?
Absolutely, 100% closed book.
So all that prep work, it's not optional.
Non-negotiable. You can't look anything up. Your preparation is everything.
Any tips for the actual test day?
Yeah, the usual stuff, but it's important. Arrive early. Don't be rushing.
Reduces stress.
Exactly. And definitely try to get a good night's sleep the night before.
Easier said than done sometimes.
True, but try.
Yeah.
And avoid that last-minute cramming session.
Really? No final review.
Generally, at that point, it's probably better to just relax a bit. Trust the preparation you've already done. Cramming often just increases anxiety.
Good advice. Solid test-taking wisdom there. Okay, so fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Our listener has put in the work. They navigated the exam successfully. What happens next? What's the reward?
Well, first off, yeah, a massive congratulations. That's a huge achievement.
Feels good, I bet.
Definitely. Once you pass, you are officially an RCDD. You've achieved that status.
What do you actually get? Like physically or digitally?
You'll get a formal certificate, something you can frame.
Nice.
You also get a digital badge. That's great for putting on your LinkedIn profile, email signature, website.
Show it off online.
Exactly. And your name gets listed in the official BICSI directory of certified professionals.
Oh, so potential clients or employers can actually look you up and verify.
Yep. It's a real verifiable mark of distinction in the industry.
That's fantastic. Official recognition, digital proof, listed in the directory. But it doesn't just stop there, does it? You don't just get it and have it forever.
No, good point. There are ongoing requirements. You have to maintain the certification.
Okay. How does that work?
You need to earn continuing education credits, or CECs.
How many?
You need 45 CECs every 3 years.
45 every 3 years. And how do you earn those?
Through various professional development activities, things like attending industry webinars, taking relevant courses, going to conferences.
So staying engaged with the industry.
Exactly. Even things like teaching or presenting on relevant topics can count towards your CECs.
That makes perfect sense, really. It ensures that RCDDs actually stay current.
Precisely. Technology changes so fast in this field. Standards evolve.
So it keeps your skills sharp.
And maintains the value and the respect of the RCDD certification itself across the industry. It shows you're keeping up. Right. Keeps it meaningful.
Exactly. So yeah, to kind of bring this whole deep dive full circle, we've looked at what the RCDD is.
Why it's a potentially great move for 2025.
The eligibility rules, how to apply step by step.
Strategies for tackling that beast of an exam.
What test day is like, and then what happens after you pass, including keeping that certification active.
Absolutely. We've covered a lot of ground. So if you are out there listening, you're an ICT professional, and you're looking to really, level up your career in the design space, we definitely think you should give the RCDD certification some serious thought. It sounds like a really powerful way to take that next big step.
It really can be. And maybe just a final thought to leave you with.
Yeah.
As you're thinking about this, just reflect on how incredibly complex and absolutely vital IICT infrastructure is becoming in, well, everything we do.
It's everywhere. It underpins so much.
It really does. So what role do you see certified professionals like RCDDs playing in actually shaping the future of how we all connect and communicate?
That's a big question. It is, but it's a fascinating one to consider as you weigh whether this path is right for you. What impact could you have?